Hello and welcome, Sudoku friends, to the New York Times Hard Sudoku. Today is April 3rd, 2023. Let's dive right in. There's a 1 blocking down here, there's a 1 blocking up here, and 1 blocking across. So this square is a 1. The 3 blocks across, the 3 blocks up, one of these is a 3, and therefore one of these two must be a 3. This 3 blocks up, this blocks down, therefore a 3 goes in this square. This 3 blocks over, this 3 blocks over, and this blocks up. So a 3 goes here. I believe that a 1 goes here, doesn't it? Yes, because 2 1s block over here. So a 1 must go here. Now a 4 blocks over, and another 4 blocks over, and this blocks up. So a 4 is forced into this cell here. 7, 8, 9 for these 3 empty squares. There's a 7 and a 9 observing this cell, which therefore must be an 8. This is now a 7, 9 remote pair. This 2 and this 7, they must go here and here, making these therefore a 5 and a 9. And therefore a 3 must go in one of these two squares. Let's see if we can figure out which one it's going to be. And I think I already know that it must be this square up here, because the 3 here blocks this square. These two squares are blocked by this 3. These two 3s are blocking these two squares. So yes, a 3 must go here. Now one of these must be a 1, because the 1 blocks over here. And that actually restricts this square quite a bit. It can be a 1, but not a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or a 9. So yes, it is a 1. Sometimes it's that simple.
It's that simple.
Two, 5, 6, and a 9 still missing in row 8. There's a 2, 6, and a 5 in the column, so a 9 is forced into this square here. Because of the 5 blocking here and the 5 blocking here, that one of these is a 5. Therefore, this cannot be a 5. This cannot be a 5 because of the 5 blocking, so a 5 is forced into this square here. And this is now a 2 and a 6 remote pair. The 8 blocks over here, the 8 blocks over here, and the 8 blocks down here. So this is an 8. We are still no closer to finding the 9 and the 7 for these two squares. These 3 must be a 2, 5, and a 6. All I know is that this must be a 2 or a 6. But these 4 empty squares must be a 1, 3, 4, and a 7. There's a 1, 3, and a 4 all blocking this square, which therefore must be a 7. And that takes care of the 7 and the 2 we had over here. Now this must be a 7 and this must be a 2. And this 7 blocks over, so does this. This is now a 7 and this is the 9. Now we need a 5 and a 6 for these two squares here, and a 5, 6, and a 9 for these squares. We know this is a 5 or a 9, and I'm afraid that's all we know.
That's all we know.
But we have a 1, 2 here, and we have a 1, 2 here. We also have a 1, 2 here, so guess what? These cannot be 1s and 2s. This cannot be 1 and 2, and this cannot be a 1 and 2. So a 1 and a 2 pair is forced to go in these two squares, exactly these two squares. And that in fact gives us 6 givens for column 2. The 3 remaining digits must be a 4, 6, and a 9. And they must go here, here, and here. And I can't place any of them at the moment. But look here, column 3. Column 3 needs a 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9. Look at this square. It can be seen by a 6, 7, 8, and a 9, forcing a 5 to go here. A 1, 2, 4, and a 7 now for the top row. Let's see if we can do any. Oh, there's a 1 and a 4 here, so this is a 2, 7. We know that this is 1 or a 2. So the 4 can't go here, but it can go here and here. So, and a 7 must go here or here. No, I'm not seeing that, at least not just yet. The 8 and the 9 here. We need an 8 and a 9 for 2 of these 3 squares, and the 8 must go here or here. This square is also very restricted. We can always try to look at intersections between rows and columns that have a lot of givens. In this case, 1 can't go here. A 2 could go here, but not a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or a 9. So a 2 goes here. This is really a poor man's way of finding the next digit.
Aren't you overlooking the obvious here?
It's not always obvious, but try to look for these intersections and you'll be surprised at how many times you find the next digit this way. This 2 now blocks down, making this a 2, and these are now a 6 and a 9. These must be a 5 and a 6. And remember how these two squares had to be a 2 and a 1? Now that we found this a 2, we know we can plug in a 1 here and a 2 here. Now we just need a 4 and a 7 for these two squares. And since these two must be a 6 and a 9, then these two must be a 5 and an 8. Again, we have quite a lot of givens in this column and in this square. Let's look at these two squares. They must be a 7 and a 4, right? I'm now looking at the 3. The 3 for this square must go either here or here. I think we can agree on that because the 3 blocks over and the 3 blocks up. But I want you to look at this square here. It cannot be a 1 or a 2. It cannot be a 4. And why can't it be a 4? Because this 4 blocks up here. So one of these must be a 4. So this cannot be a 1 and a 2. It can be a 3, but not a 4. Not a 5, 6, 7, 8, or a 9. So it must be a 3. And this 3 now blocks down. This 3 also blocks down. We got one 3 blocking over and another 3 blocking over. This square, therefore, has got to be a 3. These two squares now must be a 1 and a 4. I'm thinking the 2's. Yes, the 2's block it down here, and the 2 blocks over here. So a 2 must go in this square. The missing 6 that we have been looking for some time. We know that one of these must be a 6 blocking up here. This 6 blocks up here, so a 6 must go here. And this square now must be a what? A 5. And this 5 blocks up, so a 5 must go here, of course, now. These 3 squares must be a 4, 8, and a 7. And that means that these two squares must be a 2 and a 9. We have a 2 in the row, so the 9 is forced to go here and the 2 here. The last cell here has got to be an 8. Wait a second, the 8 blocks down here and the 8 blocks over here. So an 8 must go here, and that gives me an 8 for this square. That might be important because now this is an 8. And these must be a 4, 7. This is also, as we recall, a 4 or a 7. But we found the 8. 1, 5, and a 4 can't go here, so they must go here somewhere. And there's a 1 and a 4 here. So the 5 goes in this square. This is now a 1, 4. And this, therefore, must be a 9. And that 9 blocks down. It goes to 9 here, blocks down. The 9 blocks across, making this a 9. Now these two squares must be a 4 and a 6. The lack of sixes in this grid is a theme today, I think. 6 and 7 here, but there's a 7 blocking, so the 6 goes here, finally a 6, and this is a 7, making one of these a 7. This last square, of course, now must be a 4. And that gives me a 4 for box 2 and a 7 as well. And the 7 now must go up here and therefore, of course, down here. This square is a 9. These two must be a 1 and a 4. We discussed that already, but now this square is a 6, making this a 5. These two must be a 6 and a 9. The 6 blocks here, so a 6 goes here and the 9 here, and that makes this a 5. This has got to be a 9. The last digit in this column must be a 4, and that gives me a 4 for this square, and this must therefore be a what? A 6. A final 6, I think, here. 4 blocks up here, so a 4 goes here and a 1 here, and therefore a 1 here. That wasn't too bad of a puzzle today. It was rather easy. A few times we had to count the missing digits in a row or a column or a box, but that's the extent of it. Thank you for watching and bye for now.